because I don't want to eat this. I don't want to be eating the sandwich on the joint. But go ahead, yo. Listen, man, this real TV, ain't that? You got mustard on there? Yeah. Yeah, if you can, because I don't want her to, She gonna be like, you know what my situation is. How you gonna do that? Yeah. Meantime, in between time. That's cool. After I finish eating, they're gonna get this show. Y'all know this my therapy too, doing this show. I know people be like, you just be on there and just talking about whatever you want to talk about. I don't talk about a whole lot of stuff though. I don't talk about a whole lot of stuff. I keep it in a certain lane, still frame of reference, you know what I mean? Now you might be able to come up here and talk about something else, but me, when I'm on here talking, and it's like, you get a little bit of the personal life, you don't get all of it. Right. I talk about my personal life on here. I don't always say people's names and stuff like that, but that's how sometimes I do. But I don't go too far with the name shit. I ain't into that. We ain't never gonna turn it into that. Like, who you outing? This ain't that. This definitely ain't that. But in order to give things context, sometimes you have to, depending on what you talk about. But it's the therapy. For real. No, at 5. I'm on now. You know what I mean? I'm real TV. And I come from anywhere on this joint. At first I tried to do this. Like the first year, foolish me. I tried to be, man, you about to be on the show. You ducking out of the camera and all that. But, let me get the John. Oh, this is a good John right there. Hey, man, appreciate you, bro. For real. Oh, man, sound like we have a guest in here. Right on time. I was just being real ratchet. You can sit in either seat. You can sit here or you can sit over there. Good looking, bro. Appreciate you. And I just put the headphones on. I don't know if the headphones are queen friendly. Some queens say they're not friendly. Some say they are. So I don't know if you want to try the headphones or not. I'm really excited. This is somebody that's supposed to have been on the show for a while. I don't know what happened. Maybe we missed the emails. It was a miscommunication or something. I'm just playing. No. I'm just playing with y'all. So, this is PSA, Philly Service Announcement, Takeover Tuesday, Takeover, Love, Support, Grace, Social Activism, Resources, and Art. I am the assist, African Support, and Strength, Inspiration, and Success Together. Shout out to the Queen, Raw Cannon, you know what I'm saying? My co-host, my man, Marty and Zach. Always got to shout my folks out. I like to let people know, like, when I first started doing this, they believed in me without asking a whole bunch of questions. So I always, even though I'm doing this, solo a little bit, I already know, like, what's going on with them and how they still support me. And that's one of the places I go to get, like, charged back up. I go see a married couple that's, like, counsel to me. And they always also my partners in this. So, You might have to move up a little bit to the microphone because we need all the content.
I'm a little long. I ain't average queen.
Nah,
Definitely a champion.
definitely. So I don't introduce anybody on here.
So my name is Victoria Best. I am the executive director for Victoria Urban Outreach Tutoring Service, among other things. So community outreach, education, that is me.
So normally, as we do, we only ask 3 questions on this show, and the people I bring on here or who come on here are so interesting. Sometimes we don't even get to the 3rd question. So you did, so you did say who you are, but when the first question I always ask is, who are you? Because I'm big on identity. So I like to get into culture a little bit. Not just what you do professionally or because this is a resource show, so that's the reason why I bring folks on, because they're associated with some type of service of the community for the most part. So I do want to know that, but I do want to know a little bit about you, as in, who are you? And it's not like because I notice how people do that a lot, so that's why I asked the question. So who are you?
And you know what, it's when people ask that question, when you're forward facing a lot and people ask you that question, you become to put together your own little skit how you answer that question,
Right?
And it becomes normalized. And so it's really, I don't want to say hard, but challenging to come outside of that normal presentation that you give of yourself. So if I had to identify who I am, I would say first, a Black woman, second, a mother, a reproducer and creator of life, an individual that focuses on positive change and progress around education, and a person of reentry. And I say that only because it's just one of the features that has been a part of my journey. You know what I mean? So, being a single mom, being in foster care and placement, and all of the other things, that is just one of the pieces of my caterpillar skin.
Right. Wow. That was one of the best identity answers I've gotten, because it was dope to me, because you were like, I'm a Black woman, and then I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Black woman first, and the reason why that stands out to me, because I try to have a lot of conversations with our sisters about, you're more than just a mom, and that won't take, you recognizing that won't take nothing away from the great mom you are, can be, strive to be, but you're more than just a mom. And for men, it's you more than just a thug, bro. You more than just the street nigga that want to tear everything up because you can and you did and all that. You more than just that dude. And if you can get outside of that and see that you're a multidimensional person, human being, that education to be a lot more easy. We can utilize it on some real things, But I just liked the fact that you was like, I'm a Black woman first, I'm a mom, and that's what I be wanting when I ask people about
who they are.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I like when people be like, I'm the son of the daughter. That's what I be talking about. I like that, and I appreciate you saying what you said about reentry, because being somebody that's a person of reentry, a returning citizen, a Black man coming home, however you want to characterize it, it's still this thing that's a part of who I am. As much as I don't want it to be, as much as I know I really came into knowing who I was, I felt like I would have did that anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
do you really?
I want to believe it, because I hated where I was at. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know that I can't say that. You can't say it, but I want to say it. That's why I say I came to be the man that I am in spite of prison. Like, because prison wasn't built for me to do, to be a man. It wasn't built for me to come out whole. It wasn't built for me. And I'm not saying whole as in I'm not healing from anything, but sanity, like being able to control your emotions, things that I've seen what they try to take away from you. Like, prison is not a physical thing no more. It's a mental thing. They want folks to come home not all the way there. And I've seen it.
It has always been a mental thing. It has never been really a physical
thing.
Destitute is really of mental capacity and to limit one's dreams, to be quite honest. But what I will say is that my journey, it was necessary for me to have that experience with the criminal justice system. And I say that because it directed me to this path. And to be quite honest, I don't know what path I would have chosen if that specific incident didn't happen. Everything that I feel like happened to me, it was a part of my trauma, my life, my existence. But I'll be honest, I wouldn't change a thing. And I say that is because, you know, it's that small concept. People always like to say, well, you know, it was given to you, so it's for you. And I truly, truly believe that. You know, going through the experience of foster care and placement, incarceration, everybody don't make it out with their sanity.
Right.
And so to be tested and then to be able to see myself on the other side lets me know that this was not just for me, but it was a part of my learning journey, my educational journey. And it wasn't just about that like fundamental journey of like being educated. It's about, like you said, understanding the dynamic of how my mind is trying to be controlled by others in specific spaces and during specific times of my life. When I was incarcerated or had the experience with criminal justice, I was very young. And in getting me at that time, if I didn't have other things, again, also aligned with that journey, I don't know if I would be one of those people who would be contributing to the recidivism factor.
Right,
You understand what I'm saying? So it takes a lot to identify, one, that this was part of your journey and what you got out of it. Not always what it was taken away from you, but what was given to you. And so, like, my brother almost did like 20 years. I didn't have that, you know, experience, but I remind him that at every chance that I get, that you are a soldier. And during that time, you made it. And so you have to remember the things that you referenced and used to get you through that part of the war.
No doubt. I mean? Yo, and I like to say warriors, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause Cats was kind of, you wasn't given the order to go do this. They put you in it and you had to figure it out. Like, you had all the skill set, but you had to figure it out once you got in here. So I really like to say warrior, because, you know, soldiers, like, you give a soldier the order, they follow the order, you know. But a warrior, when you put in the prison, is like, you're going to come out, you're not going to come out. Nobody gave you a direct order in a certain way, a systematic way, a faulty systematic way. You were given an order that you didn't understand. But for how we really deal with it in real time, you just got here because you got caught. You just got, however you got there, but you on your own. Yeah. And you got to figure it out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to say, you know, Cats, like your brother, and even the brother, because this is one of the things that hurt me, like, seeing brothers, and the reason why I said what I said earlier, and then you chimed in your experience, because I know brothers and sisters that have been through foster care and that been through, and it's usually a straight trajectory. Like, it's a good chance that that's probably where you're going to go if you've been in foster care. And people know that. And then that goes back to people controlling how you think and all that in spaces, you know? So it's one of those things where I've seen brothers that were sane, you know? And y'all can give me a better word to use if sane is not the word, but brothers who can function regularly, and then see them now. And I know I seen the deterioration before, and then you see them again years later, and it's like that. I know that come from prison, because in the conversation that you having with me is all stuck in prison. You know, while you laying on the floor in the Chinese store, one shoe on, one shoe off. This is what I'm really talking about. That, like, brothers that I knew was good, like sane, like, these brothers trying to figure it out, and that time in prison, it do something to you intentionally, you know. So without getting too far into that, I love the fact that you said, now I'm somebody because I was able to weather that experience and come out on top, and do, because I feel like you look like, and it feel like you know, you feel like you came out on top. There's still a lot of work to do, but you in the right direction right now.
I'm not going to say that I came out on top and that I weathered the storm, but what was exposed is my strengths and my resilience. And sometimes we don't know that it even lies within us until we are faced or confronted with different challenges. And again, some people fall short. Right. What does that look like? And being able to just move forward. And so for myself, it's really about moving forward. And once you identify that you have a direction, irregardless of what's in your way, you need to continue to move forward. And it's really identifying a sense of patience, empathy, compassion, and understanding, and moving away from apathy. Apathy will get you to waste your time. And so again, if you don't move in a direction that is necessary for you to get to where you say you want to be, then you have to reevaluate what you say you want to do.
Right.
And so the journey is just for us, irregardless whether it includes a penitentiary stint, a hospital stint, because we got people out here that's suffering from disabilities and health issues and challenges that have, difficulties getting back into their regular function and flow of life. Again, moving forward. Irregardless of what has happened to us, we still have to remind ourselves that we are examples for the next generation and the people that's around us. And so how do we do that with a positive mindset? Is it easy? Heck to the no.
I want to ask you something. Are you somebody who always feels like you can figure it out? Like, not like you always got the answer to everything, but you know how you, like, some folks may be more like they want to concentrate on how it happened. And then some folks want to be like, nah, we need to resolve it. Then some people, they want a little bit of a balance. It's like, let me sit in it for a little bit and then I'm gonna go at it. But the folks I feel like that's like, they always feel like they can figure it out. They like, you sound like somebody that like, I switch over to it. Like once I'm put in it, I just, let me figure this joint out. And you get put in another sit, hold, let me figure it out. You don't never get like, I'm gonna sit in this for a while. Or I'm gonna sit in it for a minute, then I'm gonna come out of it. Like you seem like somebody to be like, oh, it happened, I gotta figure this out.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm not old, but I have some time on me, right? And so there has been times in my life where I've identified I needed to be on a sabbatical. And so figuring it out wasn't the most important thing to me, just really recollecting myself. And I don't discourage people from doing it. However, I caution them to make sure that it's appropriate for their life and their lifestyle at that time. And again, being okay to function with the things that you're given. So when I took my sabbatical, I didn't really have an income, I didn't have a lot of things, but I was prepared to be okay with that. It's a mindset. And this is why I kind of brought up all of the other things earlier, like moving forward, where you are, staying focused. And so do I get the experiences where I think about, dang, how do I get here? Yes, it's just the fact that I don't stay there long. In my mind, I can't stay there long.
Right.
And then I can't even stay on to the, how do I make this right that long? I can't even stay in that place long. I have to determine a route to take and then go on it. Because again, the most essential thing that we have is time. And I realized that anything will be put in front of me to waste my time.
Yes.
And I don't have a lot of time to waste.
That's the idea. That's the idea of complicating things. It's like, why are you complicating this? Like, why are people just complicating stuff? Because it's just wasting time. Like they just like wasting time. So, what is your resource then? Tell me, can you narrow
expand on what you mean by that?
I mean, what? So you said, I've been through these things, and now I'm somebody that's helping with recidivism. So I mean, like that, like
attention.
So like stuff like, what are the research? You're an educator. You gave me a little bit of ideology when you said we can right a lot of the ship with education. Because people got different things. Some people will say religion. Some people will say money is the answer. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little bit of ideology that I got from that when you said education. So I'm assuming that you provide some level of education, So what are your resources? What are the things that you provide?
Voice provides educational resources, services, workshops throughout the whole year, and opportunities to enhance people's mindset, really. And so it's not like a fundamental educational approach to say the least. The tutoring that my organization provides is around math, reading, and writing, core curriculum subjects. However, it also includes history. It includes anything that you can think of that will promote positive change or awareness in your life. And so that can be anything from civic education to financial education to anything. And I do want to say this. One of the things that I've built my organization on and myself on is that education is not defined by the amount of degrees you have and certifications that you accomplish. Is accomplished by the sense of understanding that you have in the realm in which you exist. And so to be able to understand the systems that are functioning around you, and when I say understand, read them and regurgitate them back to others gives a sense of fundamental understanding. And then being able to apply. So application, how does those things apply to you? And then if others need to be encouraged or supported through other educational journeys in their life, like a trade school or college, then we are also there to support that as well. I want to say that sitting here now, I'm going to toot my educational
please do.
Accomplishments. I do
Please
have
do.
2 master's degrees, and I say that because
She is a master, y'all.
I have given up a lot of time to accomplish that. My first 7 years of school, I spent 7 years in college just to get my bachelor's degree. So that just gives you a sense of the time to be able to continue on and then add graduate services while being a Black woman, while being a mother, while being an employee. So there's a lot of hats and things that I had to do in order to accomplish that. But it was very important to me to be able to function in various spheres, so that, again, my background, whether it be foster care or placement or incarceration, does not determine my place in rooms.
Definitely. I would like to, toot my own horn a little bit and say that I totally understand. Like that's how I feel when I walk into spaces. Like, let me get an opportunity to allow you to know that I got some experience and I understand what's going on.
Let me reintroduce myself.
Exactly. That's a beautiful thing. And I love I always love this when I tell them, because I'm an open book, because I believe, if real redemption is being able to if people decide, no, I don't trust you. No, I don't like you. No, I am fearful because of that particular thing, not some imaginary stereotype or whatever. No, I don't go for that. But if you saying, based on what we read on this paper, because we don't know you, and this really did happen, I have to understand that certain people are not going to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And not try to be petty with them, keep trying to explain it to them, just keep living my life in a way where that doesn't matter, and then you'll come around because I'm staying on this road of redemption. For real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might have to walk alone sometime and stay consistent to what you saying redemption is supposed to be. Or if you saying that's not who I am, if they're not going to take it on face value when you say it, you can't be upset about that. That's just my thing. You can't be upset about it. And if you somebody that's really on the road to redemption for what you've done, then some people going to have that choice not to forgive you.
Well, I'm going to say this. And I agree. And when we categorize it in categories of criminal justice and career and things like that, then yeah, you can say that people can, evaluate you based off of those things and live within their confines and fears. But the reality is, we all need to redeem ourselves as we walk through this path of life, and be honest with ourselves. So, and I like to say this, and one of the things I always think about is being a young Black woman, coming up, being a teen mom. There was a lot of men that dated me when I wasn't of age. I don't think half of those men, majority, ever were caught, confined, approached, or identified as pedophiles. You understand? But yet they do exist, right? And so again, when I just use that as an example for redemption, because we all know the things that we've done within our lives that are not beneficial to ourselves or to others. And so just because we have been, or some have been, caught or how can I say, judged for it, doesn't excuse others for things that they think people don't know.
Right.
And so I say that because throughout this journey, it has been given, when things happen to me, they say, oh, you should feel very blessed, being a person of incarceration or having this background or this and this and that I should feel blessed to have these opportunities as if I hadn't done the work. And so there is a difference, because I'm not going to say everybody falls under the category or have made the sacrifices that I've made in order to be in those spaces. However, there was sacrifices made irregardless of my past, because I wanted to really identify and determine my future for myself.
Right.
And so that's what this society and culture suggests, that, when you get an education and you do this and you do that, you have ownership over your life. And so I don't want to continue to allow my past to give my life its own ownership. I'm giving my own self my own green card.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You're allowed. Because of that, you're allowed to feel, not just
Yes.
because of a criminal with a criminal act. I'm saying even if it's you and a friend and they do something that's not okay,
Yes.
and you're trying to show me that you're apologetic, and that's a road to redemption. And you sometime, and if I'm like, no, I don't want to forgive you, you not right now, or I don't want to deal with you right now, you can't decide to go to somebody else and talk trash about me. And I said I'm sorry, and you know what I'm talking about. It's like even something not as deep as you getting into trouble for doing something in
Well,
the street.
people can, and they do, but my point of saying what I said is that, again, is for us to redeem ourselves irregardless. And so once the offer is put out there, you know, and you ask for that redemption, and your actions ask for that, and if it's not reciprocated in a welcoming way, you still continue to move on to redeem yourself.
And that's what I'm saying.
You know,
that's
so,
why you are
irregardless though of their answers, their responses,
right,
or anything else, because that's not about you, that's about them.
And that's but that's actually really what I'm saying. Like, seriously,
okay.
like that's why I said you're allowed to feel however you want to feel. Yes. I'm going to keep moving in the way that I know I'm supposed to be moving.
Yes.
How I say I'm moving. So that's why I'm saying a person gets to, I'm good with it. I can keep moving in the space, and you can have whatever feeling you want, like, because I'm going to be consistent with me. And I don't feel no type of way towards you for real. I don't, you know, I've learned that. First, I thought I was, somebody told me I was compartmentalizing everything too much. And I was like, well, that's like something that I learned to do over time. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, in prison, I took it as like, I can't be emotionally attached to too much stuff because it could change at any moment. So like kind of what you were saying, and we were saying earlier about the figure it out thing, you get into these spaces where it's like, I can't be so attached to that because that's going to hurt when I go to this next phase, or if they change everything on me. So me coming home, and then she said to me, she was like, you know, you can't do that like with people, so to speak. Like you can't. And I'm like, I think professionally I could do that. If it's like, we could still work together. There's no animosity. There's no nothing, but we disagree with a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could do that. I feel like you should be able to do that, so it don't turn into something vicious and personal.
Well, I agree, but I will say this, that, you know, going back to something we said earlier, enslavement and being incarcerated, you know, it's a mindset. And so if you continue to not do the work to not just unpack your well-being physically, but your well-being emotionally, then you continue to carry that enslaved mindset. And so if you walk around with shackles in your mind, then that's how you will approach things. But if you allow those shackles in your mind to be released or unhinged, then you are moving around freely, and anything in your mind is at your reach. And so if you identify that you are able to do something irregardless of where it is, who's a part of it, then it's in your reach. And I say to people, go for it. There's only one thing that you can learn from doing something, is that you're good at it or you're not good at it. Either people allow you to do it or they don't allow you to do it. And when I say they allow you to do it, meaning they're receptive of the things that you offer.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, even if people don't agree, they can agree to disagree. But I will say there's a sense of honor and respect among people and individuals. And so even if I don't agree with somebody in whatever realm, I essentially respect them, because no one person is the same, and we don't all have the same mindset. And so I don't want to say that I'm better or, you know, above somebody, because in my mind I think that I've arrived somewhere else than they have, because their feeling can be just the same. And so just to remind myself that, have humility, even when I don't agree, to agree, you know, that humility is there. And what does that look like? Just sensibly telling somebody my thoughts and feelings, even if they're in opposition to theirs. But it's, I think also too, what a lot of people misunderstand, and it doesn't change how people may take it internally, but just the delivery. You know, sometimes the people will use aggressive energy and behavior to deflect things that they know they need to allow in. And so if somebody says something to me in a way that is not, in my mind, that I can make conducive to being nice,
Right.
And it's all
Conducive to
on.
being nice.
It's all on in my mind.
Right.
Now I'm on defense mode, and
Right.
anything that I can find to be able to say or articulate that will defend my position is now the stance that I'm in. But I don't want to have to take that with people, because who I am authentically should just stand for itself.
Right.
And so that's what I'm encouraging people to do.
Nah, that's a good job. So do you have any other resources?
This reentry
reentry.
pardon experience that's
Yes.
getting ready to happen,
Yes.
and maybe you can help me
So
with sharing that.
I see the thing was, cause she, she
I'm
does
looking.
some
Where the
level,
thing?
she does some, she does some level of this too. I was on her show. That's one of the reasons why this is like long overdue for me, but it came at a perfect time. So the reason why I pointed at that, because I was going to wait until I wanted to talk to you about you till about 5:30, and then at 5:30 we would transition into the Part in Me screening that we're doing at the Free Library. It's for me, it's a big deal doing something in the Free Library. You know, I don't know how other people feel about that, but for me, it's a big deal. But I've done this. I've done it already. We brought it to the community center. They said we was the first community center to be able to bring the screening there. We became a part in Hub as a part of that. We did the screening the first day, and did got the training for the part in Hub the next day. We actually have another event that's also promoting March 13th. On March 6th, we're doing a partner event at 5901 Market at Eddie's House office. They have a nice ballroom. Anybody familiar with that area, 5901, they just opened it up. So it's probably been open maybe 6 months. I think we only been in there maybe like 3 months, but they have a really nice ballroom that they allow us to utilize. So we're going to do the partner hub in there. And I think that would be a good segue from March 6th into March 13th, with a lot of the same people coming, being able to promote it a little bit more. And we got flyers and all of that good stuff. I got to show you the flyers.
Yeah, you're doing big things. I'm excited.
I mean, it's a good, it's a good look. I really, the doing the screening is dope for me. Again, I always repeat these things. It's dope for me because Shujin Moore, the brother who created, directed, produced the film, he is a Mike Lee fellow, as myself with Pauls. That's who partnered with him to do a lot of the film work that he's doing. So he's in full ownership of what he's doing, and they have partnered with him, which I thought was so dope. And they did a lot of those same things for me and opened a lot of doors for myself. So I always like to tell that part of it. And then one of the things that stands out to me when he talks about pardons is, as far as the economic impact that it has, but the fact that if you are being honest about pardoning people, it's a benefit to that, because these guys, to get the pardon, they have to be productive in some level that y'all agree with, and they can only be more productive if you take that pardon away, and they will be able to pay more taxes. So, that always just stood out to me when he said that to me, and I was like, man, for those who are on that side of it, they will be able to be more of a productive person in the society, because they can pay more taxes, because they can get connected to more resources that they can't get to with a felon. So where do you stand on that?
So, I mean, I don't want to say too much today, because I want people to come on out to the event on the 13th, as I am one of the panelists, guests, sharing a part of my story around incarceration and reentry. But I just did apply for the third time last year for my pardon, and it is waiting to be signed. So I will say this, for me, I love the perception of taxes and tax dollars to make it important for the judicial system that we function under. However, for myself, it was really just to be able to expand my reach. I started my own business so I could do that, but now I want to be able to reach more, and I want to, if it ever comes up in a situation about my background and my history, I can then identify what I've done. And so, generally with pardons, people want to keep that part of their life hidden, so that's why they want that door closed. I don't want to just erase it, but I want, like you said, to have it forgiven in a sense by my city, by my state, my community, and my fellow peers, so that it's clear how the depth of my heart is to do the work, because I don't need a pardon to get a job.
Nah.
you know, not, I don't, and I'm gonna say even just a well-functioned job. You don't need a partner to do a lot of things in the city of Philadelphia or around the state. However, I will say this: it is challenging, more challenging for convicted felons to find employment, or I would say gainful and positive growth of employment.
Careers.
Careers. You know, so yeah, but the pardon for me is very significant, and again, I will love to share more. I can't wait to share more on the panelists. But 3 times, y'all, 3 times I've applied for that pardon. 3 times,
and that's the beauty of you giving your perspective, because that's something that the film can do. It can, and the panel is going to do that. It's going to give you all the different reasons why people think getting a part, and then themselves getting a part, and having that part and process be adhered to, kept up on, because it's something that goes to the wayside until, you know, somebody's probably about to get reelected or whatever the transition is going to be. But that's usually the only time where they get heavy on them, and even then they be so far behind. You think that they signed 100, but they had 400 on their desk, and you be hype about the 100. So that 400 piles up over time because they're not dealing with this process like they should. And that's another thing about this movie, this documentary that's going to come to the forefront, is like, we need to be putting pressure on our state representative, the governor in particular, about signing these pardons, because he can sign them anytime.
And the thing about it is, once you go through this whole process, this expungement process, and you're applying for a pardon in the state of Pennsylvania, there's still no guarantee that once your pardon gets to the governor that he has to sign it. And they tell you that, you know, like, oh, he don't have to sign, or and I'm gonna say he because traditionally our governors have been males.
Yes.
But you know, they say he doesn't have to sign, you know, the pardon. So if you do have this pardon, you have to wait for him to, you know, get across to it. Because I reached out trying to figure out why and when is my pardon going to be signed, because I'm ready for it and I'm waiting for it. And I'm gonna just throw this little jab. Love all my Philly Rockers, Meek Mills, and all them folks, but I'm trying to get some clout so that my pardon can get on that desk.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, what's up with you?
Recently, I just realized and identified with myself that I'm going to move forward, irregardless of what the outcome of the pardon is, because that's how important the work is for me.
So I always like to figure out, like, how do you move in these in professional spaces? And I ask that from this standpoint. Is it a thing where it's a certain dedication to the cause, or is that just to the work that you do? Like, if you do nonprofit work, people are going to assume you do this for some cause. You know what I mean? But you could just be corporate and not just be there for money. But I know people who are in corporate who own businesses, and they have a level of, I'm doing this for my people, you know? And I have that great conversation with black folk all the time. So I wanted to ask you that, like, how...
Hold on. Sorry.
Is it any part? Do you choose jobs? Because I know people who choose careers. I'm not jobs, who choose careers and ownership. You know, that, like you said, I wanted to get my own business, so I didn't have to worry about that. You know, and that's a certain level of, now I can deal with who I want, I can hire who I want. You know, and it becomes about, I can represent black women in a certain way through the work that I do. Everybody don't have that, or feel like you have to have that, or so I like to ask that question because it's a great conversation. Like, how much of you moving in professional spaces do you do it for the culture, like they say?
Well, I don't know how to really respond in a manner for the culture, but for me and my purpose in my existence here, it is for me. And I realize that, and I don't want to say that I'm lucky, but I'm appreciative that I have something to live for outside of my children and myself, and that makes me connected to something so much bigger than myself. Realizing that every generation has a contribution to the society and the space that we exist. This is my contribution. I am not guaranteed life. Everybody's existence will be terminated at some point. And for myself, what fuels me is, how did I live the life that I was given? And so not taking it for granted, not missing opportunities to assist, support, and be an example to somebody else. So it's not really a career for me, it's just a life choice. And if I can find financial stability around that, I'm excited and appreciative. You know what I'm saying? Because financial stability can come from doing something that you don't like, and that could be a career.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have something that, you know, I'm going to age out of doing at 65 or 70. I want to be able to, again, be a positive force for change throughout the duration of my lifetime. And what that looks like will continue to evolve in the space where the amount of people that I touch and how I'm able to touch them. So I'm hoping that, again, it could be through education and positive aspects. I am always working on myself, reminding myself that in each moment I'm still not perfect, and in each moment I'm still blessed. And so with that, I will say that I reflect and ask myself oftentimes in all of the moments that I'm in, have I done what I know was right? Did I speak in a manner that was correct? Do I need to apologize? Do I need to reevaluate something? Because that's just a lifestyle. It's not a career. Did I present some information in a positive way? Could I have done better? You know, it's always, how can I be, again, an effective force for change? And lastly, I want to say, before I trying to get out of here, I want to say that, you know, in this generation, with technology evolving the way it has, you know, and a lot of our youth, especially some in recent times, you know, they like, I don't want to know about the past. I want us to all just get along. I want us to just be able to move forward. For me, that is critical thinking, and it doesn't minimize the love that we have for the rainbow. It just means that, for me, that the work needs to be done more to focus on our color in particular in that rainbow, and how it affects all of the other colors in that rainbow. You know, so, you know, light hits rainbows, and they expel all of these beautiful colors, and we really don't see how that happens. It just manifests and show up, right? And so it's evident that within racial injustice and equalities, whether it's around incarceration or anything, minorities always get hit harder with those things. And for myself, we never just see how it happens. Like, it just happens, right? And then we're looking up, and now we're dealing with, you know, these high crime rates and, you know, all of these things. My point is that if I focus on educating people on how that just happened, then maybe they can really understand how other things can just happen with their assessment, their assistance, and their support. You know, so if I could say anything to anybody, is that I would love to help the world, but I want to first start off by helping the people that I am close to right here in my house, my community, my city, my state. You know, I want to really make it a transitional process that really I can actually see the journey of change and how it started. You know, I want to be able to see that. I don't want to just jump from one place and be able to say, oh, this is where we should start change. I want to start it with myself, and then everything else that I'm able to affect and touch.
So I don't gotta ask our last question, because you kind of just answered that with the, you know, because I normally ask why you do what you do. So that she gave me that in full and kind, and I really appreciate it. That's the dopest thing about this show, like giving people the opportunity to just give you some other ways to look at things. Because like I said, I'll come up here by myself, and it's therapy. It's about me and what's going on around me. And then when other folks come up, it's like, but this opinion, this fact, this truth, all of these things exist at the same time too. So that'd be dope for me to be able to get those opinions, get those facts, get those truths, and not even as a versus, just a as to, or look at it this way, or you was looking at it this way for a long time and that it was working, but these other ways exist too. You know, so I always appreciate being able to do the show and have folks on here that can, you know, you need your air likes on here. That's going, they say, and then you need your air likes that be like, I air like, but I got this B stuff over here and some C stuff going on too. So I do that what you do, but then I got these other things going on too. So I know you said you was ready to get up out of here. You know, I
ain't gonna hold you. You know, I'm still a mom, so you know this is after
no
school
doubt,
hours.
no doubt. You
y'all
gotta,
important with that 5 p.m.
That's
time
why.
slot. You feel
that's
me?
why I respect this woman right here, because you are one of those women who are multi-dimensional women and handle it at a very high level. That's why I always shout my co-host out the way I do, because she also is a master. And she also talks about, people don't understand the time that it took for me to get here with children, with being a wife. You know what I mean? Being a wife of a husband who's come home from prison. You know, I didn't necessarily do the time, but I was a part of that every step of the way. You know what I'm saying? And now he's come home, and that transition is something that we have to work through, and still are married and still are happy. You know, so I go over there and get a whole lot of love from that, and a whole lot of belief. You know that it's a possible thing. You know what I mean? And it ain't
Black love. It's so real. We don't even realize how real it is because it's sometimes so far-fetched from our perspective. But black love is so real. That's the only thing that we've had for so long. And I will leave again with this. The real challenge for me is seeing how black and brown brothers and sisters is out here harming each other.
Yes.
And, you know, doing the work, you know, of the people who want to continue to make our race is a minority. So I just want to encourage us to love on each other, give second chances. We out here asking for the government, the city to give us second chances, but we don't give people in our community second chances. It's on site. I seen you that first time and you did something to disrespect me.
And it's over from here.
It's on site.
It's over from here.
But every time something happens that impedes a little bit more deeper and personal onto our existence, now we want somebody to give us a second chance, to give us an opportunity. So we have to have that that's like being able to really apply that in our communities and the people that we interact with every day. You know what I mean? It's just not that deep.
So let them know who you are again.
Victoria Best.
The best.
Yes, Victoria
That was
Best.
kind of corny. I don't usually go up. That was corny, but
it can't even be corny because best. Like, what can you say? Best. Somebody had to ask me the day. They was like, Victoria, what's your last name? Best. You know.
Yo, I love So we ain't getting off the show because I got 15 more minutes to do on the show.
Listen,
I so appreciate it. She's coming back too.
Yeah.
So she has a lot more. We got a little bit out of her, a little bit, but she got a lot more going on, you know. So next time we're going to definitely do that interview before the Pardon Me screening, March 13th, free library, 5 to 7:30. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a good time, and it's going to be very informative. And it was brought to you by this sister right here.
No,
like
honestly, I can't even take that hat. I reached out to this brother and I said, listen, I want to be a part of this. How can me and my organization be a part of it? He said, say no more. He said, this is what I need from you, which was very minuscule, and then I have the rest. So my sense of appreciation extends far beyond this. And then I also want to say that I have an opportunity to meet Jarue on a radio show that I did. Really, really gave the opening to this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful relationship of doing work in the community and being a positive force for change. So I believe in the work that this brother is doing. You know, I believe in the work that I'm doing. You know,
and I believe in the work that you're doing. Like you know, you doing some things. I like for. I don't like saying the roses and all, cause that belies something else. I like the props. I'm still on props. She dope. You know, I'm aging myself, as they say. She's dope. I appreciate the props, and I want to always be able to give them back because I think we keep each other going a lot of times. You know, we folks that are blessed, as they say, you know, to be in certain positions and recognize it. Like, we keep each other. We have those real conversations with each other sometimes because it's a real level of understanding. Like, I know what you're doing. You can't tell me that's not what you're doing.
And chill. It's not about competition.
Right. It's not like because it don't always got to be like somebody checking you. It could be like, yo, they got an opportunity over there. You better jump on that joint. So it be that too. And again, we keep each other up. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. So I'm always get my props.
Appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying?
So
but you can get off my show now since you only want to be here to the end.
Listen, the sister is older than what she thought. Did you not see the sweat?
No, that's not nobody's business. They can't really tell that. That ain't nobody's business. But look, I really, really, really appreciate you coming on. This is dope. And she is coming back again, March 13th. Yes. Pardon Me screening, free library, 5 to 7:30. Yes. Come through.
Yes.
It's gonna be loud. We're gonna have some stuff for y'all. People gonna be getting interviewed. We're gonna have like a little picture booth going on and all that. So all these dope connections can be, photographed. You know what I'm saying? Very clear. CEO Rowe, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Always. That's another thing I gotta get done on here. I be missing because I be talking to the folks because I love the conversations. I love conversation. So that's another thing you'll notice about this show. I love to do it because I love having good conversation, So I'll be missing what be on the screen. Sometimes people be posting. I'm gonna try to get. Well, I'm not gonna try to get. I'm gonna have somebody like remind me so I can make sure that I show those people love. They showing me love. You are actually watching this joint and commenting on it. That is a real thing. A real thing. You are commenting on something that I am doing, and it's usually good stuff. It's always good stuff. I don't think I ever got a bad thing, and I don't want no bad stuff. I don't want to get into that. That's not going to make it. That ain't going to make the comments start popping. I don't want the comments to pop in that way. I don't even want to battle with you in that way. But it's been all good stuff. And that's something I've kind of been trying to be mindful of and being, I know that I'm an optimistic person, so I always think, as I was asking Victoria Best, are you a person that feel like you can figure stuff out? And I am. And I could hear a lot of that in her, and because I'm like, I'm not going to get caught in this. But I can begin to be on a time like you figuring out the negative that could happen in every situation. You know and want the positive to happen, but what you're expressing is the negative that could happen. So I'm trying to be more mindful in that of not like, this is gonna be dope. This is gonna work how it's supposed to work. I'm gonna have a good time. And none of the other there's no other stuff. There's no other stuff. Like that's what it is. There's no other stuff, man. So, people like it can get wild though in your brain. It can get wild in your brain to the point where I never believed until I was in the whole upstate that I would ever be having real conversations about my sanity in my own head by myself. Like, I know we like to joke about answering yourself and all that, and that's whatever. People will do that to be funny and all that sometimes, whatever. But no, I'm talking about really having, and I've been in a space when I was upstate, when I was in the hood, where it was like, I'm telling myself, why are you doing what you doing, but you doing it? So what was happening was dudes would be on the door, yelling, talking about whatever, a lot of wild stuff. Just dudes gotta pass the time some kind of way. I know if you was in the hole or whatever, it would be irritating, but that's really like guys losing their mind because they're being confined in this way, and they need to be able to get that energy out. So they would just get on the door. Some dudes would sleep all day, get on the door at night, just be doing anything, rapping, singing, battling, just yelling at people, busting on people. Like sometimes cats would join in. Sometimes a cat would just be on that joint by itself. And dudes would just be like, if nobody say nothing, eventually he'll burn himself out. And then a lot of cats, you find a way to go to sleep, like whatever. But it is something that can annoy you in the cell. If you in the cell, you in there by yourself and you listen to this motherfucker making all this noise or talking some dumb shit, like just the dumbest shit you could ever think about. And it's because they don't got shit else to do. Like they don't know how to handle this situation because they really not supposed to, because it's inhumane. At the end, it's inhumane. And they're not supposed to know how to handle it because it's not. A human can live in a dumpster. That doesn't mean you're supposed to. You just have the adaptability to be able to do it. But in that process of adapting, you're going to be harmed. It's going to be some type of trauma that's going to happen because this is an inhumane thing. Yes, you can live in here, but you are not supposed to. By next, you're supposed to be able to move around. And just that part of it, like just being in this room and not being able to go nowhere, where you going to get that out at? Like, so anyway, one day boy was talking about black people never fought. So, I had been down for about 15 years now at the time that I was in the hole. And I had been through this with dudes my whole bit. Like, as I started learning certain informations, I would have questions. Some dudes, they learn through arguing with you because they will argue with you, and then you'll hear them on the phone or something to talking to somebody else and saying all the shit that they were trying to argue you down about, you know what I mean? But anyway, I used to hate that conversation because they, it's engineering working, and I've read about that too, how they have only given us certain amounts of information that we really don't know. Like, we really don't. For a long time, people was talking about, so you're trying to say that it's a conspiracy by the white man, racism is a conspiracy, like somebody actually playing this. Like, that was an argument amongst black people at one time, not too long ago. When I first got locked up, which is goddamn a quarter of a century ago now, Damn. That was an argument. Like, so what you trying to tell me is they got this whole plan to keep you down and to keep you like they really made crack and they really made prisons with the intent to lock you up. And I had those fucking arguments with black people. Right now, people don't really argue that. It's everywhere. Like, you can't argue it. Right now is take the accountability that you know what the fuck is going on and you still doing the shit. That's what I'm hearing more now. That's an argument to stay in the bullshit too, though. Don't get that part fucked up. Cause it's like, it's fuck it. I know all that shit going on, but I'm where I'm at. Like, what the fuck you want to tell me? So that's the joint now. But before, motherfuckers really was on this. Like, what? Like, man, the white man ain't do all that. That's just nigga shit. Niggas doing niggas. So I really used to have that debate with cats, and you know, I was young and I was learning a lot of things, and you know, so I was for it. You know, I was for having these conversations and all that. I wouldn't really get too far with cats, you know, because most time dudes, it wouldn't go too far because they really didn't know what they was talking about. Like, you know, statistically, I'm usually having a debate with somebody with an 8th grade education or less, and I had been a college student by the time, you know, when I went to prison. You know, a fake honor student, as they would say. So I could at least functionally read, write, and remember and do a certain level of arithmetic, which I found out a lot of my brothers unfortunately couldn't do when I was in the penitentiary. You know, a lot of brothers, even though they weren't illiterate, they were really moving around as functionally illiterate because it would be a certain level of words and conversation that would happen that these brothers was not understand, and they can't read and write. And then some couldn't. So, and I'm saying this from the standpoint of not me being better than my brothers. I'm just trying to let y'all know, if I could tell you before reading statistics that most of these dudes didn't have dads, and most of these dudes definitely didn't have high school diplomas, but GEDs, not even in placement. And the ones who did have GEDs usually got them from placement. And if you ask them to read or write, like that, it still would be a struggle. Like, seriously, I seen it. And a lot of brothers. The same thing with the Father John, where Father's Day, all the cards is on the table. I tell people about that all the time because it was wild to me looking at it from the eyes that I was looking at, because I was reading at the time. So I understood what that meant systematically, that Father's Day cards have no value. They had no value in the prison. These beautiful, elaborate Hallmark cards that the churches would send, the same as the ones that they would send for Mother's Day, but you could trade for food. You could trade for more cards. Cats were buying the cards off of you because they wanted to send more. They wanted to send them on, and no Father's Day cards. Like, them Jones going in the trash being left on the table. So, you know, it for most of us, that's like a regular thing. Like, nobody's paying attention to that. But for me, I'm reading these books that's telling me that that's systematic. That's part of how you can tell who's coming to jail. Like when they talk about the school to prison pipeline, you know. Shout out to Dr. Umar too. I was just watching the joint. I don't know, I might be late on it, but I just so happened to watch the joint with him and Nick Cannon last night. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, that's always his thing where he talks about special education and putting kids in classes with learning disabilities, and like how it's a farm system basically, because whenever you put children in special education, that child gets double the money now. So if you go, he said he was in Cali and like almost every school. And he said then he went in the penitentiary and was asking them like who here was in special education. He said the thing wasn't how many hands went up, it was like how many hands didn't go up. You know, so this is a cottage industry because, you know, it get down to the nuts and bolts of things where it's like, he said if a kid gets 9,000 and then you put them in special ed, now they getting 18,000. And then I take it a step further. You actually, the additional 9,000 is saying that you're going to put extra resources in this child because they have, but I would say that the resources probably even become less now that the child is in there. So that 9,000, okay, it happened. We all right. I'm gonna get it. So, and this John make everything sound so much more dramatic because it's a goddamn microphone. But but with the children, you not using the whole 9 now. The special ed child, they not using those additional resources. That's why they getting additional money. But then the thing is with that is, what's up with you, boy? Then the thing is with that is like now he said you got 10 kids and you getting an additional 9,000. But he said, what about when you got half of the damn school, all the male boy population, which is mainly boys? What does that number look like when you got 400 young boys that you getting an additional 9,000 for each one of them? So that's 9,000 times 400. That's maybe 2 schools. Some schools that might be 1 school. But now we talking about whole cities. So how many special education young boys do we have in Philadelphia? So you do the math. And that's the thing. The school district got everything on their website. So you ain't going to miss nothing. You can find everything out. That's the wild part about it. They got to do reports. They got to get audited. Not that anybody's going to care. But, brother, before I finish what I was about to say, because I don't want to go too far off the tangent, what happened was where I seen my sanity kind of slipping while I was in a hole, I'm arguing with this boy on the door, and I learned over time not arguing with these boys, because how you going to argue fact with opinion? Like, that's not a real thing. That can't happen, but that would happen a lot because I'm reading and studying, and these boys are just giving me their opinion. Boom. So I learned over time to stop doing that with cats. So I just wouldn't. I wouldn't have a debate. As soon as we get to a certain point, I'm out of here, bro. You right. Deuces. But for whatever reason in the whole, I couldn't resist hearing this boy keep talking about how black people ain't never fight, bro. It just was tearing me up in a certain way. And I wound up getting on the gate and start like going at him. Not crazy, but like going at him with the facts. But like, why the fuck is you even talking? Like shit, like that type time. I ain't called a man out his name. Maybe I was talking to him kind of aggressive with, but he never got crazy. Like, cause I think the information that I was saying, he one of them dudes that actually learned from arguing with people. And he was kind of like putting that out there, like looking for somebody to correct this shit. I don't know.
You know, some people just want like engagement in the whole because you just
yeah. That I was saying that part too. Right. Anything you need, that's the slipping. Like his shit slipping, and then my shit slipping. Because what the point that I was making is I was telling myself like, bro, why are you on this fucking gate sweating with your head squeezed in between this little piece between the door and the fucking wall, yelling about some shit when you can clearly tell that this nigga didn't know what the fuck he was talking about? Why did you let that get? This is what I'm telling myself while I'm yelling at him through the jaw, sweating with my fucking boxers on. I'm in there by myself, so I just got my boxers on and shit with some slides on the jaw, sweating on. Like yo, bro. That's when I kind of knew, like, I had never had a situation where it was like, yo, your sanity is not there. I've seen it with other people, but that was one of them Jones. Like, bro, get yourself together. But tell everybody who you is, man, before we bounce up off of this John, man.
Man, you know, I just come to photobomb you, man. Just
yeah, always, man.
Drop in real quick, man.
Oh, man, you know I always appreciate it. Listen, this is something y'all need to understand, man. Black men, as much as y'all think we be on some other shit because y'all been programmed over, I'd say 20 years to believe that we still on the same bullshit that they made us on, black men really trying to heal out here, bro. And we coming up against people who saying that they feel like they are healed just because they dealing with the black men they dealing with. Y'all done did so much to us. I'm cool. It's you. And they dealing with us from that. And I'm sitting here saying, I'm not healed, but I'm healing, and I'm on that journey, and I'm trying to step up and I'm stepping up and doing the things that I'm supposed to do, and you're fighting that.
Yeah, it's doing the work. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people feel like you need to do the work the way they want you to do the work. You know what I mean? So if you just doing the work, if you going about it bettering yourself, you know what I mean? Sometimes
that's crazy,
it ain't good
bro.
enough for other people because you're not doing it the way that they doing it.
I need you to do it how I want you to do it.
You need to go to therapy. You need to see this white person. You need to talk to him.
Ooh, wow.
Talk to this stranger.
Listen, we can't even jump into all that. The brother's coming up next. This is PSA Philly Service Announcement. Takeover Tuesday. Takeover Love, Support, Grace, Social Activism, Resources, and Art. That's what we doing out here. We out, man.